Hey guys, Reviewz is here with my first review of 2013 Shenmue, released in 1999 for the Sega Dreamcast, developed by Sega AM2 and published by Sega. In many ways, Shenmue was a groundbreaking game as it was one of the first titles to fully implement a 3D world based on real life, with people going about their daily routines, weather systems, and large open areas to explore, which will become the forerunner to sandbox games. Set in a Japanese winter of 1986, you play as 18-year-old Ryo Hazuki, who returns home one day to find his father engaged in battle with the mysterious Landee, who demands to know the location of the Dragon Mirror. After Ryo tries to intervene, tragedy strikes and his father is killed, leading Ryo on a quest for revenge and the location of the Dragon Mirror. Okay, so the plot is a nuts and bolts affair, but it's solid and MacGuffin helps the story along. The gameplay of Shenmue can be split up into 4 distinct modes: questing, battle, quick-time events, and minigames. The majority of the game takes place in questing mode, whereas Ryo, you wander about the 4 main areas of Yokosuka, talking to people and gathering clues about the whereabouts of Landee. In a lot of ways, Shenmue is a detective game, slowly trying to build up evidence and clues to achieve your goal. People appear at different times of the day, while other times you have to make appointments with specific individuals to advance the story. However, Shenmue can be a victim of its own success. In trying to create a game that emulates real life, Shenmue is a game with a very slow pace, as you have to conform to the in-game calendar and having to go to bed at certain times each day. This can often lead you with a lot of free time on your hands, waiting for literally the right moment to achieve an objective, so the game mechanics can interfere with your progress. As a result of this methodical pace, Shenmue is not a game for adrenaline junkies. Battles take place at certain times, mostly when Ryo sees a gang threatening someone, leading to a fight in a similar manner to Sega's own Virtua Fighter. Luckily for Ryo, he is a martial artist and has a lot of techniques at his disposal, being able to make quick work of his opponents. While these battles are satisfying, there simply aren't many of them, and most of them seem to occur in the final act of the game. It would be much better if these fights were spread out through the game, instead of being so top heavy. Quick-time events are so common in games nowadays that we often take them for granted, but back in 1999, seeing an event occur which required split-second button presses was fresh and innovative, keeping players on their toes, trying to get a particular sequence right. There are also a number of mini-games thrown in for good measure, such as motorcycle racing and using forklifts. Yes, that's right, forklifts. Visually, the game looks stunning and holds its own by today's standards. Character models are well defined and avoid the blocky look of polygons. Towns are filled with people to talk to and really feel like they are alive and bustling with activity. To add to the authenticity, the weather system adds another element to the graphics. As you progress through the game, different weather conditions randomly occur, from snow to rain to sunshine, even changing weather conditions throughout the day based on the actual weather records for the Yokosuka area during the 1986-1987 period. For a game to achieve this is incredibly impressive and shows you the power of the Dreamcast if used properly. Shenmue was originally developed as a Virtua Fighter RPG spin-off for the Sega Saturn, with Ryo originally Akira from that franchise. However, the Saturn was notoriously difficult to program before production moved to the Dreamcast after the Saturn's commercial collapse. After further development, the game moved away from its Virtua Fighter roots, becoming an original IP. Shenmue also featured a fully orchestrated soundtrack, and it's absolutely beautiful, full of haunting melodies, ambient mood pieces when exploring, contrasted with up-tempo beats during a chase sequence. The music of Shenmue immerses you in its world and lets you become completely engaged. I always think that music is one of the most important elements in a video game, and if you get that right, you're on the right track to creating an excellent title. Furthermore, Shenmue was one of the first fully voice-acted video games and included voice for every single character no matter how minor their role, with the scripts recorded in both English and Japanese. The voice acting is hit and miss, with some characters faring better than others. Most notably, Ryu's voice actor sounds very cheesy, making his reactions unbelievable in an emotionally charged story. Also, hearing the familiar cries of children can become rather grating, but this is just a very minor complaint in an otherwise splendid game. Despite the cheesy voice acting and some of the gameplay mechanics hampering your progress, Shenmue was and still is a groundbreaking title and an important hallmark in the development of video games. The game does its best to emulate the real world and is a precursor to open world sandbox games. As a result, Shenmue delivered at the time an unparalleled level of freedom to explore and let you decide how to tackle the story, while also giving you time to break away and do whatever you want. If you can find this game or have an old Dreamcast laying about, do yourself a favour and play this game. You will be blown away by its level of detail and gameplay in one of Sega's best ever titles. Well, that's the end of this review. Thanks so much for watching. If you liked this review, be sure to subscribe for more retro gaming goodness. For updates on what I'm doing next, remember to follow me on Facebook and Twitter. So until next time, peace out guys.